doesn't feel good, thought Rudy. Soon he and everybody around him started to float above the ground. What's happening? Shouted somebody. Gravity is getting weaker because our planet is not spinning faster like before, said somebody else. Rudy tumbled and fell on a lake, and the next minute he was up on a tree with his neck sticking out of a bird's nest. Luckily, Barky floated around, so Rudy caught hold of his tail and freed himself from the nest. Then they both fell to the ground. Rudy was so confused. The armies fighting out in the space got angrier with Rudy's planet because they knew that his planet was the reason for all the problems. They all came to Rudy's planet, and people in Rudy's planet pointed at Rudy for all the problems they have. Oh no, worlds fight in my time, complained Rudy and ran into his home. He saw Bridget and his grandma floating inside the home. His grandma told Rudy that this was not what she meant by connecting the worlds. Rudy sighed. He looked at Bridget and said, Please remove your spell. I didn't think we will end up with a bigger problem. Before Bridget could say anything, the beings from the other planets came in to catch Rudy. So Rudy floated away from his home. The beings chased him. Bridget realized the problem Rudy and all the planets have gotten into. So she floated up to a mountain top as much as she could against the weak gravity. She then cast a spell. Meanwhile, the beings from the other planets caught Rudy. You must be punished for getting all of us into trouble, said one of them. Rudy said, I thought this would stop the war. I didn't mean to get all the planets in trouble. Bridget's magical spell broke the tree that connected all the planets. Now the planets were back in motion. Everybody got back on their feet. Rudy was so happy that everything was back to normal. The beings from the other planet and the people from Rudy's planet said, Okay, now back to war. Rudy just couldn't understand this. He stopped them and asked, Why should you fight again? We have to prove who the most powerful is, said everybody. And then? Asked Rudy. The winner rules all the planets, and everybody obeys the ruler, said the fish like beings. When we win, kid, you don't have to play outside. You can play all you want on a device, said a robot looking person. No, if we win, you will play inside the water like a fish, argued the fish people. Those are the silliest ways to play. Come on, guys. Nobody is going to like being controlled by somebody. You'll also feel sick because nobody will like you if you control them. You'll only make everybody sad. Everybody in all the world sad. Bridget stood behind Rudy. Nice try, kid, but you got to say something better than that, laughed a giant being. Rudy pointed at the sun and said, okay, so we are all part of a big family under the sun. So we should all stop fighting at once. The people from the other planets looked at him and laughed. They said, Go home, boy. They walked away from Rudy and said, Let the fights begin. Rudy shouted, Stop! Bridget, who was listening to the conversation between Rudy and the beings from the other planet, ran far from them. As everyone prepared to fight the war again, the sun suddenly became huge and brighter. Everybody looked at it shockingly. The sun shouted, You're all part of my family. Listen to the boy and quit fighting. I will not shine my light on those planets that wants to fight. Rudy felt that the voice of the sun sounded a little girlish. So he looked around for Bridget. And sure enough, he saw her casting a spell which made a huge magical sun that spoke with everybody. The robo like beings were the first to get scared. They said, Please don't punish us, son. We will lose all our energy without you. We will stop our fight. The fish beings said, please, son, without you we'll just be icy fishes for somebody to eat. We are stopping our fight. The giant people said, we won't get any food without you. If you can notice, we already stopped the war, so please don't punish us. The people on Rudy's planet looked at the other beings and said, if nobody is fighting, we can't fight anyways, so might as well stop fighting. The people from all the planets joined their hands together and showed their friendship to the sun. The sun said, well, that was quick. Okay. I'll be watching though. If someone misbehaves, you know what I can do. Rudy giggled. Rudy ran to Bridget and thanked her. She was happy that she stopped them from fighting. They looked at the people from the other planets talking to each other at last. World's peace in our time, they shouted happily. The end.